Coming up on today's wrestling news, Goldberg returns on WWE Raw.
Marty Scurll has officially parted ways with Ring of Honor.
5 more WWE Royal Rumble 2021 entrants have been confirmed.
And Matt Hardy shoots on a new WWE tag team. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Adam Nicholas.
And this is the news.
Yes. Nailed it. First take. Take. Look at that. We are flying into 2021 here. But yes, our first story of today, Mr. Wilborn. As I have turned up to cover Andy Murray, I may not be able to bring anything else to this news better than him, apart from hair follicles, and I've brought plenty of them today. But speaking of someone who has less hair follicles than me, let's talk about Bill Goldberg, because he turned up last night on Monday Night Raw. Please hold your applause, Wilborn, until I finish the news story. And it's exciting stuff, I guess. Is it? Okay. Serious face on now. Bill Goldberg is back, and he challenged Drew McIntyre last night on Monday Night Raw. Of course, the Legends Night. We had all the legends out on display at the top of the ramp, like a museum or something, you know, the usual. But Bill Goldberg took umbrance with Drew McIntyre as he was given a speech in the middle of the ring. Came down, basically said that Drew thought he was better than the Legends, was disrespectful, and that he thinks he's better now than they were in their prime. And looking at them, he's got a point for quite a lot of them, quite a few of them. However, I think McIntyre probably summarised this best when he said, and I need to read this properly, "Fighting you would be like fighting my own dad, mate." Either way, whether you're into this or not into it, it looks like we are going to be getting a challenge. Well, not looks like it. Bill Goldberg has challenged Drew McIntyre for Royal Rumble 2021. I assume, imagine if he just didn't accept. That would be hilarious, wouldn't it? But just to quickly add on top of that as well, that's a big challenge. Well, I want your opinion on that first, Mr. Wilborn. But just before I give you that, a bit of news regarding the other legends who were missing on last night's Monday Night Raw, because there was a whole bunch of them. But Carlito and Candice Michelle couldn't actually make it. Carlito, arguably someone who everybody was looking forward to seeing, couldn't make it. And there's no exact reports yet. Fightful Select, we're reporting this, but in terms of the issues, potential travel issues, but nothing confirmed about that. First of all, Mr. Wilborn, Bill Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble. Your thoughts?
I mean, I have mixed emotions with this sort of thing, because if this means we don't get Bill Goldberg versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, then I'm kind of okay with it. But you've already got me quite concerned that we're going to get that as well. Look, we've talked about Goldberg already this year, and a lot last year around him circling yet again around the world title picture. I think in terms of like getting eyes on the product, it does make fiscal sense to do something like this, but he can't win. He cannot beat Drew McIntyre. And also, his justification for, I mean, the fact that you can just walk out and go, quite fancy a match at the Royal Rumble's amazing, considering all the guys that have been challenging for the title recently. But Drew McIntyre, generally considered to be one of the most respectful WWE champions in recent memory. Yeah. And Goldberg's just like, "You're a knobhead, you are." And he's like, where have you got this from, Bill? Have you headbutted one too many doors? I don't know what's going on. But, yeah, like, I'm okay with it, as I was with Roman versus Goldberg. Arguably more so because we're not wasting a big title match at WrestleMania now. But he has to have his head claymored off his shoulders within like 5 minutes, in my opinion.
That is exactly what needs to happen. I totally agree with you. What will happen, I feel, might be slightly different. I am worried that we could end up getting both of those matches, because it just seems weird. Why would they have Goldberg and Roman kind of going head-to-head just to leave that tease in your mind? I worry. I am very, very worried about Drew McIntyre's belt. I hope he doesn't lose it at the Royal Rumble. But hey, who knows? Maybe he will. And can we just touch on it once again? This whole headbutting the door thing, man, with Bill Goldberg, that needs to stop, man. Look,
yes.
It's become his trademark now. Just this red dot just above his eyebrow. I don't get it. It's not good for anybody.
Breathing exercises, meditation. I don't know what you need. Like, I listen to the Rocky soundtrack or something. I don't need to headbutt a door to get myself psyched up. Also, we should mention, by the way, major title change on last night's Raw. Not the WWE Championship. McIntyre retained that in actually a really good match against Keith Lee in the main event, getting put through a table, and I really genuinely enjoyed that match. But the 24/7 Championship, of course, R-Truth won it again because the Boogeyman, good to see him on Monday Night Raw. He terrified Angel Garza, who thought he was going to meet one of the Kardashians and Cardi B, I think it was. And now, as you pointed out to me, Cardi B's going after Vince McMahon. This should have been our lead story.
How we haven't led with Cardi B calls out Vince McMahon on Twitter, I don't know today. But here you go. Bill Goldberg headbutting the door and challenging the Scottish man is the way to go with it. That was fisticuffs, I guess it's interesting. Is it interesting? You tell me, I don't know anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure people will talk about this more in the comments section about how they feel about it all. I think a mixed emotion is the best way of putting it. It'll get casual fans to go, oh, cool. And hopefully it'll make Drew McIntyre look more of a star, because I hate it when they have him. Like last night they had him, and I know Hulk Hogan said that he's got a lot of fondness for certain people in the locker room, and some people are quite cold to him because he thinks that he's going to come in and take their spot. No, I just think he's going to come in and take up your TV time. I think that's the concern that they have. But the bit where McIntyre's fawning over Hogan, it's like, look at you, Drew. You're better than this.
Yeah, definitely. But I guess comes with the territory, unfortunately, for him playing the babyface, doesn't it? Whatever he may or may not think in real life, I don't know. Anyway, shall we move on to our next story now that we've completely exhausted all talk of Bill Goldberg and Drew McIntyre?
Yes, let's move on and talk about Marty Scurll. He has officially parted ways with Ring of Honor. Now, he originally, of course, signed a multi-year deal with ROH back in January 2020. A lot of speculation around that time as to where he was going to end up. He was a real major free agent being linked with everyone. Obviously, AEW was the most obvious one, WWE. All these companies were linked with him. He signed with Ring of Honor, though. As part of that deal, he became head booker of the promotion. Subsequently, he was named as part of the Speaking Out allegations. ROH launched an internal investigation into the matter. He had a bit of hiatus, possibly related to that sort of thing. And now it has come to the moment where they have officially decided together, both Marty and Ring of Honor, to part ways. I don't really want to speculate anymore on this, whether it be what's in store for Marty in the future or the reasoning behind this. But just to say that, he's done with Ring of Honor, which is surprising considering his role in that organisation, Nicholas.
Yeah, absolutely. You were never sure kind of what the ramifications of this might have been, given how high up in Ring of Honor Marty Scurll was. And we've seen other companies deal with it in a whole host of different ways. Some rightly, some wrongly, whatever your thoughts may be on that. At the end of the day, the end result is he was named the Speaking Out allegations. Ring of Honor have done their internal investigation, and this is the end result. The companies have parted ways by mutual consent, and that is pretty much the top and bottom of it, unfortunately. That's all you can say, really, isn't it?
Exactly.
Anyway, with that said, let's move on to something, I guess, a little bit more exciting than that. The Royal Rumble, as we've mentioned, is coming up soon. Not only will Bill Goldberg potentially, most likely, be challenging Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship, on top of that, we've had a bunch of people who've been announcing themselves for the respective men's and women's Royal Rumble matchup, as is the case at this time of year. All full of New Year cheer and everybody getting excited about 2021 is going to be their year. Drew McIntyre said that last year, and he did actually win the belt, so who knows? People could be telling the truth this time. Anyway, bunch of names on that list who have announced themselves. We already kind of knew Nia Jax had been confirmed for the Women's Royal Rumble, and Shayna Baszler kind of showed her intent, but has not officially been confirmed yet, so those are two names that were already there. Charlotte Flair, however, is confirmed for the Women's Royal Rumble. As you can imagine, on the road to WrestleMania 37, that woman is at the top of her game. She wants to be challenging for the belt once again. It all kind of makes sense, truth be told. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who've got their opinions about that. But in terms of the men's Royal Rumble, we've had a whole host of names who joined and confirmed their interest. Randy Orton last night, AJ Styles, Riddle and Elias have all indicated and had confirmed their places in the Royal Rumble 2021. Every time you look at the Royal Rumble lineups, you start to remember, oh yeah, they've actually got really, really good rosters, these companies. It's madness, but exciting times, I guess. The road to the Royal Rumble has begun. Adam Wilborn, are you excited? And who else would you like to see confirmed rather soon?
I am excited for the Royal Rumble. I'm always excited for the Royal Rumble. No matter what state the company's in, you always feel like, okay, this is a chance of a fresh start. And I think Lashley was alluding to getting in there, and he could have some huge spots, unquestionably, if he was involved in there. Anyone but Charlotte Flair, probably for the women's. No offense to her, but we've done that a lot. I think Shayna Baszler is a long shot, but if anything is going to rehabilitate her into the world title picture, and like her versus Asuka at WrestleMania would be great.
Bianca Belair.
My money's still on Bianca Belair, yeah, for the women's. Riddle could be a contender. Keith Lee, you sense that, you know, if they're going to do something, re-establishing him into the title picture after he lost last night, then it might be him. Big E, I still don't understand how Big E isn't being mentioned more often, because that's the road they need to go down, in my opinion. But to be honest, I'm happy so long as they don't do that thing. I hate it when they go, and number 30 in the Rumble is going to be this person. And I was like, don't do that. Yeah. Why have you done that?
Just tell you
I hated when they did that mixed match challenge thing where you found out in advance who number 30 was going to be. I don't care if it's, you know, a slight disappointment. Just give me that excitement rather than just like, you know, then having to get excited about it. Number 29 doesn't make sense. Also, a bit of a spoiler for you. My wife had a dream about the Royal Rumble last night. So apparently Stone Cold's going to turn up in a Stormtrooper outfit. So, you know, put your bets on that right now.
I mean, I could put a handsome bet on that, I'm sure. Maybe in the other direction, but hey, I don't know.
Don't talk to someone about the Royal Rumble just before you go to sleep, basically.
No,
certainly not in the month of January.
Because there's too many possibilities.
But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like I said, there's too many possibilities for the Royal Rumble. We all get super excited, and then ultimately we get... Sometimes it delivers, like last year it delivered really well.
Yeah.
I mean, god damn it, remember Edge coming back? Remember crowds, everyone? That was great, wasn't it? But yeah, I think the Royal Rumble winners, I can't take my mind off the idea of Bianca Belair winning the women's. It might be too soon, but I would really like to see that. There's obviously going to be a
It feels like she's in the perfect position, isn't she? They brought her in the summer, they forgot about her, like they always do with the eventual Royal Rumble winners, and then they go, oh yeah, you're mean.
Oh yeah, you're really good, and we can do loads of spots for you.
Exactly, she's been kept on the you know, the back burner. She had some great spots and got a load of eliminations, if I remember rightly, last year. So yeah, absolutely, Bianca Belair should be nailed on to win. I'd like to see Big E win the others, but I'm intrigued so long as it's not bloody Randy Orton. Big George, give it to Big George, bollocks to it. Let's conclude anyway with the final news story of the day. Matt Hardy shooting on a new tag team in WWE, which features his brother. Not directly shooting on his brother, mainly shooting on Vince McMahon, not having any ideas left, basically. On his YouTube channel, Matt Hardy was talking about the Hardy Boys and the Hardy Bros, basically saying, there is no doubt, if someone ever asks you who the greatest tag team of all is, it is the Hardy Boys. Now, before you say he's getting a bit ahead of himself there, this is all kind of part of his brilliant new character in AEW, which I'm a huge fan of. He says, as a matter of fact, Vince McMahon is so obsessed with the greatness and popularity of the Hardy Boys, kind of see that character bleeding through here. He's created the Hardy Bros, and he's put together another guy named Matt with my brother to try and recreate the magic we once had. He still wishes he had the Hardy Boys. The Hardy Bros? That's not gonna work. You'd have a better chance with fake Razor and fake Diesel. Yeah, he says they're destined to fail. They are destined to fail. And yeah, it's just lazy. I mean, there was the big bro on last night's Legend night with... I get it. He says bro. Vince, we've got it. It was kind of nice and a bit more subtle when he was in NXT, but okay. What do you reckon to the Hardy Bros, Adam Nicholas?
Bros, yeah. I don't know. Like, I guess I will say, look, it is lazy. It's definitely lazy, but it's right there, and I think we've seen a lot worse.
Yeah.
Case in point, Kabuki Warriors was always one I remember completely dividing people. And remember, what was it? The Viking Experience originally, I think, was the change we had. Yeah. So it could have been a lot worse. This does actually technically makes sense. It does fit with the character. You're right, though. This is classic WWE main roster stuff. All this was this one thing. Let me just beat you over the head with it until it's nonsensical anymore. He's not wrong, though, is he, Matt Hardy? He's in character, perhaps, yeah, but he's not going to be wrong. The Hardy Bros aren't going to last forever. I can't imagine. And I'm sure it's going to be a launching pad presumably for Riddle or Jeff Hardy if they're still indeed involved with that. It makes sense. From Vince's head went Hardy, bro.
Hey. Also, RIP to Jeff Hardy's ears yet again after a match with Randy Orton on last night's Raw. Jeez, stop doing it, Randy. Made me and him be sick when we did it on pay-per-view about 2 years ago. But anyway, let's move on to your Twitter questions. At WhatCulture WWE, of course, if you want to get in touch with us. Jake starts us off saying, are WWE going to manoeuvre some way for Miz to actually win the WWE Championship? Who knows, maybe from Goldberg. Or are they essentially going to make him fail at cashing in twice?
Oh, they could, couldn't they? Like, they definitely could. It feels like something they do, because they don't put enough respect on the Miz's name, I don't think. And this would certainly not surprise me at all. It would make sense to actually have him cash it in successfully, having the fact he's got it back. It's a good heel move to then be able to cash it in successfully. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if they binned him off. I will say as well, on top of that, he will never, ever, 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 ever beat Bill Goldberg in his career, The Miz. Full stop. I don't care what the context is. Save this clip. Take it to the bank.
I think he might try and cash in after the Royal Rumble and get speared out of his shoes because Goldberg suddenly respects Drew McIntyre, and then you just get a bit of a nothing throwaway match, which is what I like for Goldberg when he killed Dolph Ziggler at SummerSlam. That's the sort of thing. So have a handicap match
Miz
and Morrison versus Goldberg at WrestleMania for 5 minutes. Yeah. And then we don't ever have to see Miz.
It's not going to happen. It's going to be Reigns and Bill in the main. Get used to it.
Put all of the gold, and guess who's going to win?
And Goldberg goes over.
J-Man gives us our second question today, saying, greetings, legends. Greetings to you, Jay. With how WWE seems to be in a slump these last few months, do you see WWE ever getting rid of the Women's Tag Team Championships? It just seems like they have no idea what to do with it.
I sincerely hope not, because I do agree. I feel like they need to figure out more of a direction for it. I think they need to include them more, but we kind of seen this with the men's SmackDown and Raw Tag Team Championships. Vince is never a huge fan. It's always a means to an end or a way to advance a storyline in some way, shape or form. Usually nothing to do with the actual tag team, which is unfortunate. I'd like to see them be used better. I don't want to see them get rid of. I would like to see them do the rounds more. I'd like to see them on all three brands more.
Yes.
That's the point. That's how you make them feel bigger. NXT, I mean, I think they've deliberately done it. They've been spending time building up a few tag teams in the women's department. It just feels like it makes sense. Move them across there. It would make it feel fresh. It would add an extra layer to everything. I don't want to see them go, but I do totally understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I think they need to be given more attention, and I hoped that with this fresh start in 2021, WWE were going to do that. And now apparently Lacey Evans is trying to smooch Ric Flair, who cost his own daughter last night. I have no idea, but just bring back the Iconics, for God's sake. Bring back the Iconics. And Bayley and Sasha, that was their intentions with these tag team titles, to take them around to, you could have, like NXT, you've got what? Caden Carter and Kacy Catanzaro, a great up-and-coming tag team who could the championship could arguably make the team with them if they suddenly win it on a shock episode of NXT or a takeover or whatever. Right now, it's what? Asuka and Charlotte Flair? They're not a tag team, are they? They're just two people who happen to be together. Although, when has that ever stopped WWE giving someone like that a tag team title? So,
actually, on top of that as well, maybe don't have them go to NXT for the time being while they're the champions, because they'd just squash everybody, wouldn't they? So maybe not. But the belts themselves, if they can get them on someone where it might feel legit, or even an NXT women's tag team, I mean, God forbid, imagine them dropping in on a Monday Night Raw and then SmackDown. That would be interesting. But then again, Charlotte and Asuka are the champs. I'm not going to argue for the minute because I do like them both. So what are you going to do?
Yeah. Christian Hilton gives us our final question of the day, saying, good morning, fellas, and Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too, Christian. If you could bin a gimmick pay-per-view, what would you get rid of? My pick is Hell in a Cell because it devalues the match type and the show has held some of the worst matches in my opinion. Any memories from Hell in a Cell, Adam Nicholas?
Ooh, I couldn't possibly think of any bad memories from Hell in a Cell, Adam. Certainly not with you either. I mean, look, you've taken the words out of my mouth because the first thing I was thinking of was Hell in a Cell. Basically, purely based on the fact that you and I have had such a rotten time for the majority of the times we've watched that pay-per-view, because it's completely destroyed the Hell in a Cell gimmick, because the whole point of that was you couldn't end it any other way, a feud or whatever. So you put them in Hell in a Cell. Now it's just, hey, the pay-per-view's coming around. Want to get in the cage? They don't handle it very well, I don't think, and I couldn't agree more. Hell in a Cell is the one for me that would have to go.
My only good memories of Hell in a Cell recently was Bayley and Sasha, which merited Hell in a Cell, which you could have just done on an Armageddon pay-per-view, let's say, where they say, there's only one way to settle this, it's Hell in a Cell sort of thing. The fact, like you say, that it's just this time of year is ridiculous.
Sasha and Becky Lynch as well in Hell in a Cell was also a good match, which I recall. And to be fair, most of the women's matches actually that have been in Hell in a Cell have been pretty good. What a shocker that is. But yeah, the actual pay-per-view itself, I feel like it just gets so forced. It's not for me.
Either that or, I don't know, Survivor Series, because that's crap.
Hey, I actually agree with you there. We've spoken about this many times. What's your theory again?
Get rid of Survivor Series, put Money in the Bank in the place as one of the big four, because it's a far more exciting pay-per-view.
There it is. In the comments with your responses to that. Longevity, fans.
Good luck, everyone. Right, let's move on to today's and finally, and a lovely touch from FTR, who have announced that they are renaming their finisher from the Goodnight Express to Big Rig, of course, in honour of Mr. Brody Lee. They say, this is our way of keeping a bit of his legacy alive in professional wrestling. We love you, Brody. Can't wait to see you again. I think that's just a really nice thing to do. And, we've seen that amazing mural in London over the past few days, Nicholas. It's just some really lovely touches from the majority of the wrestling industry. A couple of knobheads, but that's what you're going to get.
Always going to get that. But I think loads of people are trying to do this in whatever way, shape or form. Like you saw Big E dropping Amanda and Nolan's names in a promo on SmackDown the other night. It's just lovely stuff. It shows you how much John Huber and the Huber family are all appreciated by people across brands in wrestling, just universally accepted. And more of this kind of thing. You want to see positive stuff like this. And Revival are good dudes. Revival? Good Lord. The FTR are good dudes.
Exactly. Let us know your thoughts on that and all today's news stories in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. Myself and the Dudley Boys sitting down to review Monday Night Raw. Good luck, everyone. A little bit later on today. Speaking of later on today, we are going to have Simon Miller back here on the channel doing ups and downs of Wrestle Kingdom Night 2, so make sure you watch out for that one. You can let us know your thoughts and Twitter questions on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. Watch there, follow both of us. You can follow Adam Nicholas at...
It's Adam Nicholas, and you can follow Adam Wilborn at...
Adam Wilborn. The H stands for Happy Birthday, Adam Cleary. You thought me and Nicholas were gonna forget. This counts as your present. Right, my thanks to Adam Nicholas. Thank you for joining us. Happy birthday to Adam Cleary. Sorry we can't celebrate the same as last year. Piss off Time Up for rubbing it in when we were having a lovely... Anyway, I'm getting off topic. My thanks to Adam Nicholas. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.